just the idea of voting for somebody who ostensibly has some kind of power over your life seems insane to me.
Most people think that that the United States is a democracy.
Right.
It's not a democracy.
I think we're in this time where humans are waking up to the fact that they're sovereign beings who deserve to be in control of their own lives. The group of souls that chooses to make this place home, wow, it's like a very interesting collection of people.
The system is built to really, get you caught up into the machine, into the matrix, into the, keeping up with the Joneses.
No, it's just also very important for this place to maintain the fabric of like the community element. Here, people are very used to working things out, human person to person. You have a chance to take things on here if you want to, in almost any way you desire.
It's faith over fear. It's really a higher level spiritual connection, and it's faith in God.
His biggest challenge is getting good employees who show up on time. What's much more developed here is the heart, the humanity, the interpersonal dynamics and relations.
Finding your purpose and living your purpose and, your mission, whatever you want to call it, that piece is hard for people, and I think it's intentionally.
This is not how I expect it to be. You have to chill out so much to live here successfully.
They've tricked us into believing that democracy leads to freedom.
It's not easy to slow down and come in your heart and breathe and be kind and be human. Hello and welcome back to the Ecuador Insider Podcast. Jesse, Brandon, whatever you do, do not stay tuned for the outtakes at the end of this video. It's good.
Is it?
Good. Well, it's good to not hide who we are at all.
Well, sure. I'm always of the opinion, since we've started
Yes.
almost accidentally recording these. And
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that we should not include them every time.
That you mean every time we shouldn't include them, or you mean sometimes we shouldn't include them?
No, we shouldn't include them
Ever. Yeah. All right. Tell us in the comments, what do you think of the outtakes? Include, exclude, how offended are you?
Oof.
I mean, it's a peek behind the curtain. Not everyone gets to really know the people that they're doing business with or listening to. Granted, we're just kind of being facetious half the time and just BSing with each other. But
yeah. That's the thing.
Do people get that? Probably not.
People understand.
Probably not.
Right. The sarcastic or the subtle.
The innuendo, the references, the inside jokes. Probably not. No.
Funny for us.
And only us. Yes.
Probably.
Very likely.
So sorry.
Well.
Or don't watch it.
On that note. I'm offline. This says I'm offline, so I can't check that right now. But on that note, Brandon.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find it while I talk. It's going to say how good I am or am not. On that note, I found it. On that note, Brandon.
Pretty good. I don't care what they say.
A certain commenter named Earth Coven Audio has an opinion that I'd like to share with you.
Okay.
And this is in reference to our podcast.
Okay.
It says,
I'm getting nervous.
Your pod is the most entertaining, insightful, and genuine thing on the internet.
Aww.
On the internet.
I am so sorry.
So, while we perhaps agree or not, we appreciate.
We do
We appreciate the kind words.
Coven. Earth
something.
Coven.
Let me see. Earth Coven Audio.
Earth Coven Audio. Thank you.
Yeah, for real. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Well, Brandon, we had a debate. Well, not you and I.
Yeah, you still owe me an apology.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going there.
You can just apologize on camera. You've already done it off camera. You can just see it on camera so that it's done. You did it off camera.
Your lack of honesty is breathtaking.
My lack of honesty.
Yeah.
You apologized off camera.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
No.
You're lying. Yes.
I apologize?
Yes.
About what?
You remember what?
Okay.
Mandela effect Eve.
Yeah. I know what it is you're referring to.
Okay.
But
So then, did you apologize off camera?
no.
Yes, you did. Well, you said 80% apology.
Is that what I
Those are your
said?
words.
Really?
Yes.
I don't always have the best memory. It's possible you're right.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even remember what you said that day of the pod.
Well, I know I do. I said it exactly again.
You didn't.
Precise. Okay.
Perhaps you didn't.
Okay. Brandon, focus.
Do you want to apologize?
No.
80% on camera?
I want to.
gonna
Is there a
deny you said
negative
that?
apology that I can give?
You're going to deny you said
I would
that now,
like
too?
you to apologize for the first 3 minutes of this podcast.
Mr. International Flight? Come on, who's honest?
To what? International flight?
Yeah, people that watch the pod will know. You jumped ahead on your flight from Quito. And you got an international connection, right? Yeah, you sure do. Liar.
All right. Brandon.
You want to apologize 80% yet?
Brandon?
Do you? You could apologize 80%. You did it already. You can do it for everyone.
Okay. Well, if that means we can move on, perhaps I do.
Oh, look at. You're such a little baby.
Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, if we're...
Look at how prideful you are right now. Wow. Oh, wow.
Well, I said... Yeah, I'm not doing it. Anyways, we had a debate, Brandon. Not you and I.
Okay.
Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Allegedly, anyhow.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Joe Biden and Donald Trump had a debate.
Did they?
I didn't watch it. I watched a solid 10 minutes of it at like maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning as I was getting some food in my kitchen. For some reason, my daughter was up because she has terrible sleep habits. And I watched about 10 minutes. But you, I believe, tuned in.
Donald Trump and Joe Biden had a debate.
Yes.
Like the apprentice guy and Obama's VP had a debate. They're like 80 years old.
They are.
What are they debating? Like, what's for breakfast at McDonald's?
Yeah.
What are they? The McGriddle's better than the Egg McMuffin. I mean, what are they talking about?
Well, I don't know, man. What are they talking? What are they talking about?
I don't. They had a debate, huh? Those are the leading candidates for the leaders of the free world.
Is it the free world? I wonder what that means.
I mean, you said that, in your opinion, America is the symbol of freedom around the world.
Yes.
Right? So if they're the commanding chief executive officer, commander-in-chief
Of the corporation, of the CEO of the corp.
of the symbol of the free world, they are de facto leaders of the free world in that sense, no?
Symbolically.
So those did that happen? Is that what we're talking about? I mean, just think about how ridiculous that is. Yeah. Like, how ridiculous. And it's not even that it's ridiculous in and of itself. It's that everybody cared. Right. Everybody was in it. Everybody. And not just in the U.S., in Canada, in Europe, in places in South America. People watched that and had an opinion, had like an emotional, connection to one way or another to that. Yeah, it's such a strange phenomenon to think about that. These are the guys running for president. If you believe that elections matter, these are the choices. Like, I mean, George Bush was how many presidents ago, and he's younger than both of these guys. Like, it's just.
Is he?
Yeah, George W. Bush is younger than Biden and Trump. Biden, then it was Trump, then it was Obama for 2 terms. And then it was George Bush, and he's younger than both of these guys. Like, it's just crazy to think about. If it was real that elections are really happening and people are, that the Electoral College and popular vote and how that all works is legitimately how it goes, and people are voting, their representative to the commander-in-chief's chair, how can anybody possibly think either of these guys relate to anybody in their 30s, let alone 20s or I mean, there's got to be such a huge disconnect in, just from, our age to our kids who are, younger teenagers. It's just so different already. Like, let alone, 30, 40, 50 years difference, 60 years difference. Like, how is that? Yeah, I don't know. It's just a strange thing to me right now.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, just the idea of voting for somebody who ostensibly has some kind of power over your life seems insane to me.
Hey, and who almost for their profession lies,
right?
Or tells half truths, like or lies by omission, for perpetually. Like, it's such a odd thing.
Strange idea. Democracy is a very strange idea.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. That's a great point. Like, that's most people think that that the United States is a democracy.
Right.
It's not a democracy.
No.
They think, it's, if you actually you go back and look and study it, we don't really want a democracy.
No,
they want us to think you're fighting for it. They've tricked us into believing that democracy leads to freedom.
Right. It's literally just mob rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
Democracy should be referred to as mob rule.
Right. Right. And the U.S. isn't a democracy.
No.
It's a constitutional republic. Right. Mm.
No, and if you go, if you study the founding fathers and what they were writing at that time, that was kind of what the debate was over.
Right.
The degree to which they're going to leave decisions in the majority's hands, and the degree to which they're going to sort of let the adults in the room make the decisions.
Right.
And that's where they ultimately landed on a constitutional republic with some aspects of democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere along the line, there was kind of a switch made, and they don't want people to know that it's a republic, and they want everybody to think it's a democracy.
And they want people to fight
for democracy.
democracy.
Yeah, and also, like you said, equate that with freedom, which is just absurd. It's like a proxy for your freedom.
Right.
It's like, don't be free, vote harder and that means you're free.
Right.
Like, this guy will decide your life for you,
right?
Which means you're free.
Mm-hmm. Right. And now with all the disinformation and all the chicanery that goes on and fraud and in mail-in ballots and voting systems and people think like it just happened in 2020. It happens go back and look at every election. There's voter fraud, there's voting system fraud. I mean, go even back to Bush and Gore. Remember that?
Yeah, that was maybe the first highly publicized one.
Right, but people forget that the Supreme Court had to rule on the president.
Hanging chads.
Right. Like, somehow there's whole generations of people younger than us that don't even know that, right? That don't have that context. Mm-hmm. They think Trump tried to steal the election, and other people think Biden stole the election. And they think that's the first time in history that something major like that occurred. And it's almost every election. Bernie getting bought out, and the Ron Paul stuff.
Well, and what was that other guy, the Vermont guy? Yeah. And
Ross Perot.
That was, he's from Texas, I think.
Oh, he's a Texas guy.
Yeah, there was, let's see, there was the consumer rights advocate guy, I'm forgetting his name. And then there was also ex-governor of Vermont that people think there was funny business that went on. But to me, it's, what I, where I end up on these things. We are getting a delivery here from your lovely wife, who doesn't want to be on camera. Come on, Tiff. And
Thank you.
Look at that. She's very flexible. Thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Salud.
To your better half.
Thank God for Tiffany.
Holy crap. It's really good.
It's quite tasty.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me, right, that but just what comes to mind, more interesting to me than who wins and what team wins and, what stuff you think they're going to do for you in your life that they're not and all that crap. I think we're in this time where humans are waking up to the fact that they're sovereign beings who deserve to be in control of their own lives.
Yeah.
And part of the chicanery and the sort of National Lampoon style hilarity and ridiculousness that goes on in the political arena is feeding into that, of allowing people to realize, see behind the curtain, see the man behind the curtain, realize, wait a minute, like, does any of this make any sense? Right. Is this in line with what I believe, with who I am, with what's my essence is, with, all those kinds of things. And I think we're headed towards a time on Earth where, where human beings who are living aligned lives can relate to each other on that basis, as opposed to like, hey, what team are you on? And if we vote harder, like, our lives will get way, if only we could get some more Medicare or some less Medicare or some whatever, like, right? It's just such, it just creates such it comes from and creates both such a limited perspective. Yeah. So yeah, I think, getting very caught up in that stuff is bad for your health, bad for your mental health, doesn't get you anywhere, is fool's gold at best in terms of caring, really. Like, even if everything happens you want to have happen, which never will happen, but even if it did, would that really, what would that get you in your life? Right.
Yeah.
If we close the border, if we open the border, if we, ban abortion, if we let everyone get an abortion, like, what is that really going to change for you in your life? And there are some things perhaps on the margins, like in terms of maybe quality of life or how you feel morally, or, there might be some effects in that way. But at the end of the day, it's kind of about you and your life path and your soul and what you decide to do. And, you want to live your life in service to people, or you want to be a selfish prick, or like, it's, these are kind of the more important questions and decisions, and also the things you have control over, as opposed to like what aspect of the clown show is clowning best at that time.
Yeah, it's kabuki theater. If you accept it as kabuki theater, then you can watch it if you want to be entertained, knowing that, you have no control over it anyway, for the most part. And then even what limited control you have in your vote, if that means anything, it doesn't change anything materially based on plenty of actual evidence. And I think the biggest part that you hit for me is just the, finding your purpose and living your purpose, and, your mission, whatever you want to call it. That piece is hard for people. And I think it's intentionally so, based on the system we come from in the United States, particularly, and Canada, and any other really developed, Western, country, because the system is built to really, get you caught up into the machine, into the matrix, into the, keeping up with the Joneses, to get the job, to climb the ladder, to have the 2.5 kids with a white picket fence, to keep your lawn manicured, to keep getting new cars, to, that becomes, the routine. And then, as we've talked about with the way the financial system works, where they've also got you stealing the value of your labor, stealing your buying power simultaneously, taxing you on assets that they inflate, all of that is part of this, beautiful system, beautiful genius. Yeah. It's ugly system, but it's a genius system, right? And that gets people stuck. And then, You go back to psychology 101. I don't know, it's probably 101 or 102, in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can't get to those, you can't climb the pyramid of self-actualization and when you're not meeting those basic needs. So when people are struggling to make ends meet, and some of it at different levels by choices, like there could be people that are struggling and they're making $3 million a year, and they're still struggling to make ends meet because of their lifestyle, but they may not be any more self-actualized than somebody that's making minimum wage trying to make ends meet. They're just at it, you know what I'm saying? So, but to climb that, to keep going up that pyramid, it's hard to even have the mental space to think about what are my values?
Yeah, if you're
what's my mission? What do I, where's my heart take me? Like how can you expect somebody to do that? You can't. Like that's unfair.
Yeah, and it's kind of designed that way, right? To keep you very busy on the hamster wheel in order to not self-realize.
Yeah.
And I think, I think maybe for me, there's a lot of things about living here that I appreciate. We've gone into them a million times, so I won't bore people with that again. But, perhaps number one on that list, or certainly up there with any other, is that a good chunk of the people living here understand a good chunk of what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And so, it's kind of when because we all grow up we've all grown up essentially in the same system. And when you're in something, you don't necessarily see it. You kind of have to gain some perspective. And so, for most of us that live here, at some point, something made us pause and be like, wait, however that looked for the individual, but something made people sort of question, does it make sense, their goals and values that maybe don't necessarily come from them in terms of their soul and life mission and stuff like that, but more so just from what you picked up along the way,
right?
And were sort of indoctrinated into. For me growing up, like my goal in life was just to have a lot of money. That was kind of once being a Major League Baseball player, once that dream died, I wanted to have a lot of money and be successful and travel, do whatever, like just live luxuriously, basically. And I'm glad I didn't spend 50 years pursuing that to realize how hollow that is. Not that there's anything wrong with having abundance at all, but I just mean in terms of making sort of non-spiritual or non-self-actualization goals your focus in life. Is just, it's a good path to hell, basically. Misery.
Right. That's a great point, because you mentioned a lot of folks here that aren't from here, that choose to make life here and do life here. They have some level of that, or some level of understanding, or on that path. And it's as foo-foo as it sounds, there's some in the underlying thread between all those people is spiritual. It's faith. It's faith over fear. It's really a higher level spiritual connection, and it's faith in God, right? I mean, that's really, it kind of sounds crazy to say that, but that's really the truth. And maybe that's what's the quote? It's something like, the simplest, or the simplest things, and the simplest things in life are the truth. They're just not always, they're not always the easiest, or they're sometimes they're painful, but something along those lines. I'm butchering the crap out of it, but it's way more eloquent than that. But I think I just made up a word, eloquent.
Eloquent.
Yeah, that's good. But the point is that if you are at that point where you either have, some type of spiritual experience, some, talk to God. I don't even know how to describe it. You know, you hear a calling, you feel a resonance. You know, that's the difference, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think kind of that dream that's in the heart of every human, whether they realize it or not, of sort of the garden, it's sort of Eden, you know, it's sort of like that heaven on earth idea where, you know, you live in a place that's people care for one another and take care of one another, and you can, you know, all the things, right? Just that sort of maybe natural abundance that earth can offer. Anyways, that sort of dream that's in the heart, I think, of everybody. Like, we're building it here, and it doesn't mean we've built it, and it doesn't mean it's perfect here by any stretch.
No,
and it doesn't mean that, like,
definitely
not at all. Right? And it's so much also based on your perspective, right? Like, this place can be anything you believe it to be,
right?
In many ways, like anywhere, yeah. But this is a unique place, not unique in that way,
right.
just a unique place where, for whatever reason, and I have my theories, of course, as to why, but like for whatever reason, the group of souls that chooses to make this place home, wow, it's like a very interesting collection of people who, you know, who are in general, not, again, like, people are all over the map. People come and go. There's every just for every person who thinks this place is paradise, there's people that will tell you every horror story, and it's like, it's totally what you make of it. But the people who, you know, who come and stay and are like part of this community for real, yeah, I mean, just some of the most beautiful people who really, like, are on earth to create a community, you know, sort of like a community that's connected to the earth and connected to nature and connected to other people, and where actually folks actually look out for one another and care about not, you know, poisoning their surroundings, and care about, you know, like, it's all kinds of beautiful things, you know, taking care of the children, and you know, having environments that are clean and healthy and people want to live in, and you know, healing and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I couldn't be, it's like, sometimes you gotta pinch yourself just to say, like I freaking live here.
Right.
And like, these interactions that I get to have all the time, and you know, just the people, and just, you know, the stuff, like, you know, like, yeah, like, and most days I go to the river and the steam room both, you know, just kind of in between stuff. It's not like a big deal, you know, like, I get to spend large amounts of time with my kids, like, every day. That's not a lifestyle very many people back home can live, even if they, you know, you'd almost have to, I mean, to live that, you'd almost have to, like, buy some piece of land in the middle of nowhere and just, like, homestead back home.
People do that,
which people do, yeah.
We weren't that far out in the middle of nowhere, but we tried that for 4 years, homesteading,
awesome.
In a way. Not, like, totally, but a version of it.
Yeah.
And it was, in the Midwest, it's not fun. I just didn't like being cooped up in a house all winter, you know, more than anything, and not have the sun. But I think something that's maybe even more beautiful than what you described in regard to the people that come here, it's like the blend also, like the blend of people that come here and the people that were born here, and those people that interact, like, because it's not like, obviously, it's not like the whole expat, gringo, immigrant community, you know, interacts with the local community in any way. And the whole local community doesn't care to interact either. But there's this beautiful intersection of local people, you know, both, you know, locals, indigenous groups that participate in that community piece. And the blend is it's beautiful, man. And then you see, even across all these different worldviews, different, you know, upbringings, different means, different, you name it, the most extreme differences you can think of, there's these underlying things that you're like, wow, no, it's still all the same, at one level. It's still like a good person, that's following their heart is a good person following their heart anywhere, and so when you see that, it's like magic, it's.
Yeah, well, and you've done a great job of like creating that as well, which is awesome. It's really cool. Like it's necessary, for this community to be what it can be and is and should be, and whatever your perspective is. But
right,
it's necessary for that because there's so much wisdom in the land here, and there's so much wisdom in the culture and the traditions here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like something that as foreigners we can really learn from,
right?
Which means it's very healthy for us to interact and build those connections and experience those dynamics, and that's available here. And then it's also, it's just also very important for this place to maintain the fabric of like the community element.
Right.
It's very important that happens, that there isn't a separating out.
Yeah.
In any way, like that there isn't, right, there is I can't believe I'm even talking like this. It's kind of funny because I'm like, I'm anti-democracy. Mm-hmm. I'm anti-collectivism of any kind. Right. I'm like I like Ayn Rand, for example, not everything, but her basic philosophy, and here I am talking about the collective, but
right.
But I don't think there's dichotomy in that actually. Like I think that's actually very congruent.
I kind of see the nuance there.
Yeah, but like for this place to be what it can be and is becoming and is and whatever, it really, you need to have that you need to have that cross-section of ideas, of personalities, of, hey, I bring this and you bring this. Mm-hmm. And kind of part of that tradition, I think, that makes this place very conducive to the communal aspect of life here and sort of the autonomy and the capacity to build something here that people have a say in what it is that rural Ecuador hasn't traditionally, first of all, those indigenous traditions here are still alive and well. So that influence in this culture is real, which again, there's a lot of wisdom in that. But then also, rural Ecuador has not been controlled and regulated and governed and sort of, plasticized is not the right word, but like, turned into this very, sort of superficial consumer, transactional, hyper-regulated, we don't talk to our neighbors, we call the cops, we don't talk to, we don't work things out, we vote harder, or call a governing agency or a board or, stuff like that. Because that here is not traditionally what life is like, that leaves power with the people, and here people are very used to working things out, person to person. That's something that's normal here, and many decisions are made sort of collectively, not through democracy, not through voting, just sort of through like people getting together and talking about it and coming to an agreement or an understanding, or deciding, hey, this is a problem, we need to do something about this, and people doing something about whatever so because this is already conducive to that, it makes it so that it's interesting, because it allows for a dynamic where there's more, people have more say in general, which means that it's riskier, right? There's more risk because that authority isn't just there, that external fix, that sort of, I can just rely on the insurance company, or I can just rely on 911, or I can just rely on, whatever, the governing agency to say that there's no, something in my cornflakes or something, right? Because that those controls aren't there to the same degree, it engenders more self-reliance, more thought that goes into what you do, what you don't do, who you relate to, who you don't, and way more potentiality, possibility, capacity for the community to create the community how they want it to be. Because no one's coming in so much from the outside and be like, well, it's going to be this way.
Right.
And if you want to change that, go vote. Right. There's much less of that. You can go talk to the quote-unquote decision makers. You can not only influence them, but you can be part of it even.
Right.
Like you can, you have a chance to take things on here if you want to in almost any way you desire,
right,
as long as you know how to go about it.
And you also have the autonomy to blow it up.
Which people do,
right? Like,
stop it.
They get over their skis and they do that stuff. And, that's the flip side to it. But yeah, the beauty is that and a lot of that, I think, it just comes down to, ego. Right?
And fear.
And hubris, which is all kind of connected. Right, fear for sure, and hubris, ego, and letting some of that go and not, having to feel like you have the answer or you know for sure and this is the only right way to do something. Trying to act that way and like as an alpha, American, it's gonna blow things up versus maybe that works in some phases in some, segments of the world in the States, but here, man, that's like a recipe for disaster. And we've seen firsthand people come in acting that way and it blows up. But, the flip side of it, as you stated, is that, man, you really understand the culture and the way things work here, and it can be magic, where you at least have the opportunity for that, where back in the system we're from, we don't have that opportunity. You don't even have the opportunity to do that. Yes, you could still make magic. That's not what I'm trying, but not in the same way, at the same level, same magnitude, probably with the same ease in any way. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's a much more sort of malleable place on every level, which as good as bad. I was interviewing Ivan Mancanchi, who's a friend, and he's the owner of Vilcanet, who's the best internet provider in the area, in the region. I've got fiber optic all over, and he spent 12 years, he's from here, but he spent 12 years in Europe and mostly Belgium. And he said his biggest challenge is getting good employees who show up on time, who can just handle their responsibilities without him having to break his back, training and being on top of it and reminding and coaxing and cajole, right? And all that stuff. So there's the pros and the cons, and it's kind of like, it's a very interesting learning experience, or even evolutionary experience or spiritual experience, because it's like in the West, in the quote unquote West, that we have the sort of mental stuff really well developed, right? Like, U.S. efficiency, U.S. business savvy, U.S. logic, and we have this problem, let's put the scientists, or the engineers, or whatever, let's solve this, right? The West is incredible at this. The human mind, and it's, is amazing at this. What we lack is what you have here, and somewhat vice versa. I'm not calling people here dumb, so don't freaking do that, people. But what's much more developed here is the heart, the humanity, the interpersonal dynamics and relations, the ease, the lack of stress, right? So it's like the opposite in many ways.
Yeah.
But efficiency here is terrible. Right. People sort of taking a problem and just applying the mind and solving it in a very quick, efficient, logical way. you kidding? Like this place doesn't do that. They have their own ways about solving problems. I like a lot of it. A lot of it works really well. But it's totally different. And so for us as foreigners, it's a great challenge, and it's a great sort of like almost spiritual practice to come here with our mindset and then accept the mindset here and the mentality, and then marry the two.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, well, there's some things from the Western perspective that we can teach.
Sure.
Hey, this works better like this. Try this. It might, it's more efficient, or it'll solve the problem quicker or something, right? But then we're all sick in the West. Like our culture is sick. We
don't realize.
We don't realize it. We're fat. We're stressed. We're overworked. We're divorcing at an incredible rate. The family's falling apart. Mental disorders, suicide. Our culture is sick because we're missing the sort of human heart element.
Right.
And so that's something we can come here and learn, as long as we don't blow it up through the frustrations of like, this is not how I expect it to be.
Right. That's hard. That's hard. And ironically, that's the lack of emotional intelligence, that we have from the West. That's just my way of describing heart-centered, that it's a lack of emotional intelligence in a way. And here it's there's like inherent emotional intelligence into the culture. So your lack of that here actually blows up your chance to learn that in a deeper way, or to learn it faster, because you blow it up, because of the ego, because of the fear, because of the stress, because of the whatever.
Right.
And you lose that opportunity, and then you're gone, and you're back in the system again. And if you can get over that, then the emotional intelligence from this just inherent in the community, in the local people, in the way they live their lives, in the way they live their values. It's rewarding, and it's reinforcing, because you start to see that there's different, like stress is, hormetic stress, or stress that is
that a word? I'm curious. Hormetic? Is that a word?
So, isn't it?
It's a good one.
We'll find out. Yeah. I mean, that's like the good stress. That'd be like working out and develop, you stress you tear your muscles to build them up stronger, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Versus, like mental stress that's, cumulative, and your body doesn't differentiate between different kinds of stresses. And then that's where people have these mental breakdowns or whatever, those, those issues with, dealing with life. So, to get over some of that stress, to be able to come here, like that's a choice. That's having some level of emotional intelligence. And then when you get here, and then it's inherent in everybody's life, then it becomes easier to see and even accept, like, wait a second, it can be different. I can live different. I don't feel as judged. I don't have to keep up with the Jonesons. I don't have to do this. Even though something's been telling me my whole life I shouldn't do this, I don't have to do it anymore. I don't have that feeling, that feeling pressure from outside myself to do this anyway, even though I don't think I should. Now it's the other way. Now it's like, wait a second, what is that? What am I feeling? What do I even like? What do I even value? Wow, I can have those thoughts now. I can take action. I can explore that. I can explore my spiritual self. I can explore my faith. I can take time to spend on relationships and having a conversation for 2 hours over lunch, because they have the time inherently in this culture, and that's important to them from the emotional intelligence, kind of perspective. So then the more you do that, the more you're rewarded, and the more, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy the other way, where it feels like in the States, the longer I was in that system, the harder and harder, like the pressure from the outside felt like it was just heavier and heavier and heavier and harder to get out of that. The more you climb the ladder, the more you rack up debt, the more you keep up with the Joneses, the more you do something that you feel like, I don't think I should be doing this, really. I don't want to be doing this. Something's telling me that this is not what life needs to be, or at least needs to be for me, why do I keep doing this? And you have that, and it creates doubt and self-doubt, and you question everything, and it's tough. Like you could fracture that way just as easy.
Yep.
But then once you're here, and then all of a sudden you're in this environment where it's supportive and rewarding, and then you start taking steps the other way, and it takes time, like to unwind all that pressure and damage and trauma and whatever you want to call it, and stress, but you just breathing is easier now.
Yeah, and like the magic starts to unfold when you follow sort of your soul's calling and your intuition. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, and which of course takes a lot of conquering fear and a lot of faith. Mm-hmm. And then that's when the magic can start to unfold. The death by 1,000 paper cuts, those tiny little deals with the devil that you can make your whole life of doing stuff that isn't aligned with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's makes your world smaller and smaller, and leads to things like being on 400 medications for all your disorders, because you're living in that, you're sort of selling yourself a little piece at a time. And I don't think, I think people sometimes can underestimate what the shock of this place can do to your nervous system in a negative way also. Mm-hmm. Because of all the things we just talked about, where there's such an adjustment in terms of the way things are done, the pace, the mentality, the perspectives, just life here. You have to chill out so much to live here successfully. You have to sort of adjust your perspective so much to live here successfully. You have to give grace to people. You have to really actively not blow up and get frustrated and all this kind of stuff, right? And so it's this obligatory sort of shift where you have to relax, slow down, breathe, smile, interact, and your conditioned patterning might freak the F out. Mm-hmm. Not knowing how to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And I think people can really blow up mm-hmm. and leave for all 10,000 reasons in their head, but it's really that.
Right.
It's really they needed it to be the way, they were so used to this. Mm-hmm. When it's not that, then it's freak out time.
Yeah.
And F this sucks, I'm out of here.
Yeah, and they tell themselves a story, mm-hmm. and then that becomes the reality and their truth, and they go back, but that's really what it is.
Yeah. And I think it's it's almost easy to underestimate. It's not easy to mm-hmm. slow down and come in your heart and breathe and be kind and be human, and it's not maybe some people already are very much that way, but it's not. If you're in that fast-paced transactional sort of life, you're in the rat race, if you're really in that, it's man, even if you mentally don't want that anymore, right. Your nervous system and your conditioning, it's not easy to make that shift. I've said this before, I'm 11 and a half, whatever I'm in, 11 something years in, and I am still in that process.
Yeah.
Of, I did something this morning I felt bad about, so.
I know.
It had nothing to do with you.
Well.
I
did two things this morning.
No, just one. I did. Right, so somebody, a taxi driver who I'm friends with, brought me something, mm-hmm. and I was in a rush, and which probably led to the thing you thought I was feeling bad about.
So you didn't try it on first?
I was
realized that the skirt is too small?
Exactly. I was in a rush. Okay. This is so dumb.
Oh God.
I was in a rush, and I was a little bit stressed about that, right? I was, normal stuff. I'm dealing with the kids, and my wife's scurrying around, and I got to be at a meeting at 9:00, and I got a whole morning routine that I'm a little pressed for, mm-hmm. Anyway, so
Stayed up too late last night.
no, I went to bed nice.
Didn't get up early enough this morning.
Perhaps that part.
Okay.
So I'm a little stressed in that trying to get it all done, right? So I have a taxi driver brings me something, and he's a friend. He's someone I like and know and interact with, and I was just kind of caught up in my BS. You know, I was just kind of caught up in my stress, my hustle and bustle. And when he came, I was so focused on like getting back to what I was doing that I went to go hand him the money I owed him, I didn't shake his hand. Like I didn't like say hi. Like I didn't like acknowledge like this person I'm friends with.
Jerk.
Right. I felt like a total.
Did you apologize?
And well,
you're not good at that.
I will though. But he like, you know, he held his hand out, right? And I like got money in it. And I'm like, you know, what an ass, right? Yeah. And so I then immediately put the money away and said hi and like, you know, sort of made up for it as best I could. But I could see his disappointment.
Yeah.
And I felt like such a jerk. And it was like, you know, again, back home, this would be par for the course.
Right.
People are almost apologetic to like be human with you.
Right.
Right? They're going to be happy if you can just hand them the check and get them out of there. That's going to, yes, I get to my next thing faster.
Don't even look me in the eye.
Don't even look me in the eye. Right? And I kind of did that this morning, just not thinking about it. And it's so not cool here. And I love that about this place. Mm-hmm. But again, right, I'm 11 plus years in, and I made this mistake this morning.
Yeah. Like, I'm a little disappointed in you.
I'm a little disappointed in me too.
It's all right. You got tomorrow.
I got tomorrow. It's always a new day.
That's right. Sun's going to rise.
Sun's going to rise. All right. We got a phone call in 4 minutes.
Do we?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
You know.
Well, if you guys made it this far, please give us a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. That really helps us support the channel. If you have questions, put them in the comments below.
Especially if they're positive comments.
Positive comments are always welcome. If you want a challenge or have a different opinion about anything we shared today, throw them down below. We love the banter. If you just want to make fun of us, go ahead and do that too. Especially a little CK
particularly Brandon.
And if you guys want to check out Vilcabamba or see what life is like here, we've got a retreat coming up in October. So we'd love to see you down here for that. We'll put a link in the description.
I mean, that is freaking amazing.
It is awesome.
The retreats are awesome. Like,
yeah.
They're truly, genuinely awesome.
Dude, I mean, we're biased, but they're awesome. Yeah, well, there's some awesome videos that Fernando put together, so you can definitely check those out. You can see what our retreats are like. Guess that's that. So we hope to see you down here one day.
Until then,
we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.
Ciao, guys. So do you want to look for, you're just going to do the one comment? You're not going to look for other ones? Are we good with that one?
I wasn't gonna.
You're not going to?
I wasn't gonna.
All right.
You are welcome to. You have a internet device.
Yeah, I do.
A substitute internet device. Alternate internet device. All right.
You got enough notes yet?
I don't really have anything useful at all.
That's not good.
What do you want to talk about?
What do I want?
Ellie, whatever.
Ellie?
That's the baseball player.
Oh, Ellie. No, I'd like to not talk about Ellie. Are they on horses?
They are on horses.
There's a lot of people on horses, huh?
All right, well, guess we'll roll, bro. Appreciate all the insightful ideas.
Well, insightful ideas. Let's talk about.
Oh gosh.
I don't know, dude. We talk about the debate.
I never like read that whole thing, like father, like daughter. Oh crap, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I have the debate on there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could talk about that. We could talk about, what else can we talk about? Not right. I mean, that kind of.
Did you take a nap while I was gone?
Why?
Did you?
No.
No?
Why?
You look
I don't nap.
You look like you have pink eye in one eye.
I'm tired. Yeah, my eyes are bothering
You
me.
look like you smoked weed in one eye.
Which one? This one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's fucking burning.
It looks like it's burning. My goal in life is to have your, whatever those things are, that come from the mustache down. I just want to have ones like you.
What are you talking about? You do.
Well, mine kind of go a little crazy and like, but yours are like all the way down. They're fully integrated.
Well, it's because I train them.
You see?
You train them.
They're
trained.
I just need to train mine.
Yes.
Okay, I'll get on that.
I'm not kidding. You can. You just.
I mean, I am kidding. I won't get on that at all.
But yours are fine. Yours
You know, when I was a kid, when I was a kid, I wanted my hair to go back.
Yeah.
But it didn't. And my mother told me I could train it. And I did. And it worked.
It does.
And then I looked really cool.
Yeah, I bet.
I was so cool with my slicked back hair.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time I put a ton of gel in my hair and slicked it back.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember those kids.
I was that kid for a
were
little
that
while. Not for a long time. I mean, I had my head shaved for the vast majority of my sister used to tell me, she's like, one day you're going to lose your hair.
Yeah.
And you're going to regret all these years that you spent with a shaved head.
Dude, totally.
Like, I have the same haircut now I had for like most of my young life.
Yeah. I was the same way because I was through high school. I mean, the one dumb haircut I did, I bleached the top.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And then it was dark brown on the bottom and it was like shaved and bleached.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a bowl cut at one point.
Yeah, so that was the dumb one. But I did the same thing. Like my sophomore year in college, I shaved my head. Like I didn't even shave. I was a swimmer in high school. I could have swam in college. I didn't. Like I'm done. I never shaved my head. I was the one. None of the swimmers that shaved their head. And
Because most swimmers do.
a lot of swimmers shave their heads.
It's just easier,
Yeah. And didn't do it throughout that. Wore the cap. And then sophomore year in college, I was like. I had, the diamond studs,
Yeah, you did.
And the hoop, and then I was like, shaved head. I did that, and then I had the same thing. My family's like, you're gonna, you should grow your hair out. I'm like, I don't want to. And then, the same thing. Your family, man, you're gonna be bald. You're gonna be bald. I'm like, I'm fine. And then I remember it was like not even a year and a half later. I tried growing, and I'm like, oh. What is that? I'm like, oh no!
Getting a little thin.
I'm just gonna shave it ever since.
Yeah. See, I was cool. My cool phase was when I was really young. So like I had the diamond stud in like 6th, 7th grade.
Yeah.
And I had the shaved head in like 6th grade, starting probably through high school pretty much. And then, not through high school, actually, that's not true. Until probably through I was like 16, 17.
Okay.
And then after that, I was training my hair back.
Ah, right.
And then I didn't ever use gel until my 20s.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was working at Macy's in women's shoes in a suit. And I think like I put gel in the hair, my hair was crispy. Like I'm embarrassed now about then. Like I think like it didn't move under any circumstances.
Yeah.
It stayed in one place.
Helmet hair.
Yeah. But like for real.
Yeah, I remember those guys.
I was one of those guys. I don't know why or what made me do that, but I did it.
Yeah.
We used to, I had like a great group of friends. This was after I, made tons of money and then lost it all. And and I had to like hustle, so it was like, 2 jobs and back to, going to college and all that crap. And I had a great group of friends at Macy's in downtown Brooklyn in women's shoes, and we would take our lunch break together and just get absolutely trashed. Every single lunch, we'd have an hour. We'd come back like 6, 7, 8 beers deep, and just flirt with customers and sell shoes.
Right. Yeah, that's great. That's a great job.
It was not bad, bro.
Yeah,
I kind of
right.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That's where I met Kirsten's mom.
Really? Mm-hmm. Did you sell her shoes?
No, she worked with me. So she had
right.
seen the hair many times.
Nice. That's what she fell for, huh?
Says more about her than anybody else if that's what
yeah.
she fell for. I think I was like the unicorn at that place because I was the only white guy around, basically.
Yeah, I can't even tell Tiff and I's story on the pod.
I'm trying to remember it. I mean, was it the sock one? No, it
Well,
wasn't
I mean,
that
that
one.
was
That's
like the
just
first time I met her friends.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you told me the story, but I'm not
No, I mean,
particularly remembering.
that's part of it. That's not appropriate to tell.
It's kind of. I mean, it's college stories.
I mean, it is college stories. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Is it though? I'm pretty sure you tell that story with pride.
No, I don't tell
No?
that story. I don't tell that story at all. Tiffany told that story to your daughter
No,
because she saw the what was it? The eclipse video.
the eclipse video.
Yeah. Like one of my friends, we had the eclipse. What is it? A month ago or something that went through the United States.
Yeah.
And
that was a powerful day. I enjoyed that day.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Yeah.
Very energetic day.
Look at you, man.
But one of my buddies sent a video of I thought they said we couldn't see, I think I sent it to you. They said we couldn't see the eclipse from here. And it's the sun, and then somebody drops their bag of balls in front of the sun,
Uh-huh.
And I was showing it to Tiff, and Quinn came in behind, just as the nutsack drops over the sun. It's like, Dad, why are you showing Mom a picture of your balls? I'm like, it's not mine, and then I'm trying to, how do I explain this now? Why do you got a video of another guy's balls? And I'm like, oh my God, why did this happen? Why, So, I'm like, it's just a joke, blah, blah, but I'm trying to blow it off. Then all of a sudden, Kirsten's over later that night, and Tiff and I are in there talking, and the kids are out in the living room, and all of a sudden I hear Quinn, Kirsten, my dad's got a video of him dropping his balls in front of the sun. Do you want to see? And I'm like, oh God, Quinn. I'm like, no, they're not, Kirsten, they're not mine. It's not, blah, blah, blah. She's like, and then Kirsten comes in and goes, Tiffany, did you ever imagine you would marry a guy that shows your kids a video of him putting his balls in front of the sun? And I'm like, and Tiffany's like, they weren't his. I didn't imagine that, but I should have. And then she tells the sock story. And so then I'm like, oh my God, Tiffany, are you doing this in front of, Bella and Quinn have never heard the story, and you're doing it now in front of all these kids? So she tells the story, and yeah, it's not appropriate. I don't really want to tell that story. But it's embarrassing. And then it got even more embarrassing that night when we came home, because we dropped Kirsten off at your house, and we come back, and I walk down in the stairs, and Quinn's standing in the living room, butt naked, with the sock over his junk and a backwards hat, smiling. Yeah. Uh-huh. And now you can put the rest of the story together.
Did he have written on his chest in big bold letters, like father, like son?
Yeah, no, that would be this.
Right.
Like father, like daughter. Oh crap. You're telling me.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's not.
That's kind of, I mean, you are who you are. You're an interesting guy. I'd like you. But one of the things I kind of both appreciate you and about you and find hilarious and also is like slightly embarrassing for you is the fact that like as a 44, 45, whatever old man that
I'm
you
level
are.
45.
Right.
Level 40. I'm about to level up to 46.
On January.
Yeah, it's level 46, baby.
I like when you get to our age, like 6-7 months away is about to.
Is it?
But
I'm preparing to level up. That's how it's levels. It's a video.
No, I like it actually.
Yeah,
it's a good. But anyways, your 45-year-old sense of humor.
45 level 45 sense of humor.
Okay. I'm not gonna say it again, so you don't have to correct me again.
Thank you.
Your current sense of humor at your middle-aged self
Yeah.
is probably
16.
Exactly the same as it was. When like we weren't hanging out then, but had we been hanging out in junior high, like it wouldn't be all that different.
It probably wouldn't be.
And
I find humor. I can find humor in just about
anything. Well, and you also like. What I enjoy too is like you're pretty unfiltered. You don't like censor yourself dramatically around kids or around other different situations.
Come on, what are you?
I mean some, but I said you don't censor yourself dramatically.
Okay.
You're not uptight, is my point.
Thank you.
Yes. So, I think that's nice because in this day and age of participation trophies and political correctness, and not, misgendering someone, and helicopter parents,
right,
and all this kind of crap. It's nice to, because I was, I'm the guy probably similar to you in some ways in this way. Like, I'm the guy who my jokes always offended everybody.
Yeah.
And, some people think my jokes are very funny and get my sense of humor, and many others think like, my mom, for example, is not a fan of my sense of humor at all. And but you might even take it further than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not disrespectful.
No, you're not.
Yeah. But no, I find the gray area sometimes.
I mean, it's sort of a throwback to the era we grew up in.
Yeah.
It's like when we were growing up, at least in my...
Ball busting and mom jokes?
Well, right.
Yo mama?
Yeah, but also like the parents' generation, like that was their job, was to like bust our balls.
Right.
And do funny stuff, which was a whole big part of the scene, was surviving sort of the humor of your friend's parents.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think that exists anymore.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody's too fragile, like.
Right. Safe spaces.
Yeah, safe space, fragile, don't build them up. I get it. There's like a balance.
There is. Some of it's good, yeah.
Yeah, and like encouragement and versus criticism, that kind of stuff with kids. But in general, it's like we're sissifying generations. It feels like almost.
No, it is. It's a double-edged sword because there is an aspect of it I think that's very healthy.
Yeah.
Like respecting people's essence and humanity and who they are, not trying to hurt their feelings and put them down, and building them up. Like that stuff's great.
Yep.
And some of it is gotten, the participation trophy. What's represented by participation trophies is not helpful.
Right. Well, because it's almost doing the kids a disservice.
It is.
It's not fair to them because once they're out of that environment, that household, if it's like that, that participation trophy
that
sport
goes away. Yeah.
That's not how the world is.
No.
That's not how most communities are. That's not how most workplaces are. That's not how
But perhaps, my friend, we are building that piece by piece.
We're working on it. We're working on it, aren't we?
We are working on it. It's being worked on by more than just us as well.
It's true. It's true. It takes a village.
It does take a village. Takes an eco village.
An eco village. Man, wow. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool things you can do when the climate is very consistent year-round from a ecological sustainability perspective.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, as long as an eco village doesn't have the strange connotations of like scarcity and like socialism,
Right.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's grow a food forest
Yeah, and people do that here.
and prance around.
Prance around?
Yeah. Let's like frolic.
Frolic.
Yeah.
In like togas? Yoke?
What's a toga? That's
Like a toga?
Like
a-
one of those Greek wraps
Yeah.
type things.
Or like a leaf? Bikini?
Going back to your stories here, I think.
No, I mean, like you just, what are you going to frolic in?
I hadn't put any thought into what I was
Birthday
going to
suit?
frolic in. I mean, like, maybe momentarily. Eventually, that's a little.
Yeah.
I don't know how much
scary.
time you want to spend frolicking in your birthday suit.
For a dip in the river, maybe.
Yeah,
It's nice.
it is nice. Oh, I have
Yeah.
not made it to the river yet today,
I
which
don't
I'm a
know
little
how much
disappointed
time I really
about.
want to spend frolicking anyway.
You know?
No, I mean, like I could frolic for a minute, or like right now, and that's probably enough frolicking for me for a while.
For a while. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do some frolicking in my life.
I mean, we'd have to define frolic, but like laying in the grass,
I could do a lot of that.
yeah, like that kind of stuff. If we want to include that as part of the frolic,
I
but
think
like actual
it's a
frolic,
borderline. It's a gray area frolicking. It's gray
Yeah.
area frolicking.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of the rest period between the frolicking. You like
Yeah, so I'd be more on the, leaning rest side.
The rest side.
versus frolic.
well, you can rest while I frolic.
Yeah. I mean, I could laugh while you frolic.
See, Brandon, we just talked about being nice to people.
What? Why was I mean?
Well, I mean, you can't laugh at me while I
I
frolic,
said I was going to
bro.
laugh at you. I was going to laugh. Are you going to be angry frolicking, or are you going to be frolicking, laughing?
I think somewhere in between,
All
perhaps.
right. Well, then I'm going to laugh with you, frolicking.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna record a podcast, Brandon.
Are we ready? What are we going to talk about today?
I don't
We've got
know,
an
bro.
exciting podcast
It's gonna be good though.
on the books. Get the sun setting behind us. Looks like the clouds are clearing up. It feels good though, huh?
Feels really good.
Yeah.
Feels lovely.
Yeah.
All right. Your family has come back home.
Yeah, I guess
We should
they have.
we should mention that on the pod because that's just more of the hilarity.
Yeah. That's something, huh? What are you doing?
I'm taking a couple of more notes.
Not on your computer?
Well, it's on both places, but since I know you're still jealous,
You're just attached. Look, it's literally attached to your leg.
wait, I gotta put it on airplane mode.
You should.
I did.
So don't take
All right.
those calls again in the middle of the podcast.
All right. Ready?
Little CK.
Are you ready to frolic?
Are you ready? Look at the shirt I got on too.
Are you ready to...
Boom! Let's go.
See, those guys were angry, man.
They were not.
They didn't do much frolicking.
They did lots of frolicking.
They did
They
lots.
were paid to frolic daily. What are you talking about? They were frolicking
That's all they
for
did.
hours.
I guess it kind of depends on your definition of frolicking.
I mean, go watch it again.
I mean, I didn't watch it the first time. It was awful. It's really bad.
Kind of frolic. It's pretty awesome.
I bet most of those guys are no longer alive.
That's not true. There's a lot of them that are not alive,
Yeah.
but most of them are alive.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, God bless them, man.
God bless them.
All right.
God bless everyone, Tiny
God-
Tim.
I have bad news. We've sat here for so long that I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
But can I go off the balcony again?
Go that way. There's cameras that way.
Go this way?
Just watch, make sure that Raina and the kids aren't down there below you.
But this is your wife's bedroom, bro.
Hey, Tiff.
It's all right.
Did you guys talk to Francisco? It was for sure canceled? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice. No, we didn't even start. We've just done part. Yeah? You want to make 2? You can make me one. It's okay. Sure, whatever. You want coffee?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, Governor.
Hello. All right.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh, God.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me, bro.
You're the one that's scooting towards me.
You're the touchy-feely.
You're trying to get on my lap or something.
Okay.
Again. No, but we're recording a podcast.
Tiffy, what are you making? You didn't even offer me? I can't believe it.
I just did.
I didn't say if you offered me. You offered me, but she didn't offer me.
Are you retarded?
What are you making?
Coffee.
Just regular, like... Whoa. I don't even know what that is. What's a cappuccino?
It's coffee. You would...
Usually honey, but I'm out of honey, so like vanilla.
All right. Well, I will take anything you're making, as long as it's cold.
Oh, get out of here.
It's the cold coffee maker.
Oh, all right. I will take anything you're making in any form that it is, with appreciation and gratitude.
I can make it cold. I just his is better.
Oh, you heard it here first.
You just moved. ¿Está bien él todavía? Why are you facing the wrong way now?
Because I can't sit with my legs crossed that way.
Because of the table, though.
Okay, you gonna move
Right?
the table?
Yeah. I already tried to move it a little bit. It's bothering me as well.
Ah, it's better.
I know. I'm
you
here
doing?
for you, dude.
Thank you.
I was doing all right before you
I'm here for you.
told me that I sit on your lap. That made me a little uncomfortable.
It's not when you're sitting on my lap.
I teed that one up, didn't I?
did.
All right. Hello and welcome back to the Ecuador Insider Podcast. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel here. For real estate videos, click here. For content you're gonna absolutely love, right here. And to find out how these crazy guys got to Ecuador, click right here.